What is going on, Internet? This is another video coming at you from Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. Before I get started, please subscribe to this channel. If you like this video, hit the like button and comment down below in response to what I'm going to go over in this video. First thing I'm going to go over in this video is I've received a lot of, I feel positive, for the most part positive, response to my video about the Redskin name changing. Again, I'll reiterate, I don't want it to change. I don't want it, but I'm also a realist. I think there's just too much writing on the wall when it comes to what's going to happen with the Washington Redskins name. I think there's just too much going on, and I think it's going to happen. I think they're going to be forced to do it. Dan Snyder's going to be forced to do it. There's too much money involved to not change the name. And apparently, one of the things we're getting dangled in front of us, like a carrot, we're getting dangled is RFK Stadium. The name's changed. We can potentially get RFK Stadium back and build a new stadium in that location. So, I think there's just too many things going on. Like I said, I don't want the name changed. I feel it's way too divisive to actually. It's way too divisive amongst Native Americans, whether it's racist or an offensive name, much less way too divisive amongst most Americans. Because I think way more people consider the Washington Redskin name more of a positive thing than a negative thing. Way more people than the people who think it's negative. And the people who think it's negative are just finding a reason to bitch and complain. But regardless of that. So right now, what I'm going to do in this video, by the way, I hope you like the graphic. I had someone ask me about it. I think I found it on Instagram. But you can just go to my Twitter page. It's my profile picture. You can, if you want to take that picture and use it. I love it. I like it. But I want to go over a couple of the options that we've had. There's gained some traction on, and we've basically narrowed it down to 4. And I'm pretty sure like 2 of them I can eliminate really quickly. So the first one I'll go to, well, first off, I'll mention the one that I wanted initially was Warhawks. Warhawks have 2, Hail to the Warhawks, even though it would have changed the HTTR. Have 2 Tomahawks as your logo. And that's pretty much it. Warhawks, if you don't know, it's not a bird. It might be a bird, but the one I'm talking about is not a bird. The first tribe that waged any kind of fight against the British whenever they showed up was the Warhawks, and that was the name of their tribe. So that was the first Native Americans that we encountered were apparently like the Warhawks or whatever, or at least the first ones we fought. But apparently Dan Snyder wants to remove all Native American imagery, and I'm pretty sure I know how this conversation went. It went one of 2 ways. One, Native Americans said, we don't want any Native American imagery, or the NFL said, listen, just get rid of it. We're not going through this again in 5 years whenever everyone's offended again. Okay? Or the Native Americans like, well, you can remove the Redskin name, but you can still do this, and this. And then Dan Snyder's like, you know what? Fuck you and fuck that. You're going to tell me that I can't use the Redskin name, but then you're going to try to dictate to me what name I can use? No. Get the hell out of here. I just won't do anything with Native Americans. Okay? That's my education. He probably wasn't that, that blunt about it. But it's Dan Snyder. He probably got offended that someone's trying to tell him what to do. He's probably already mad about changing the name anyway. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything. It's not going to have a name that does anything for Native Americans. Which I can understand that. I'm mad too. I mean, I don't want it to not be Native American based. It'll always be a Native American team to me. But regardless of that, that is how I think that conversation went. I have a feeling that's how the conversation went with Dan Snyder and the league and the Native Americans or whatever. He probably was like, you know what? If you're not going to have the Redskin name, you're not going to have Native Americans represented at all, and then we'll go another route. So this is why I don't think that team name, and also the Warriors. I don't think the Warriors are going to be a team name. The Warriors are the safe pick apparently. The Washington Warriors. I don't like it. I think it's safe because you can make the Warriors into anything. You can literally put the emblem could be anything, any kind of warrior there is, not just Native Americans. You can do a knight. You can do a whole bunch of different things. Excuse me. So there's a whole bunch of different things that you could use as the name of the Washington Redskins, or the emblem for the Warriors. Problem with the Warriors is, one, it changes HTTR to HTTW. That's the first issue I have with it. Second, it doesn't actually affect the Hail to the Warriors, Hail Victory, Braves. You can still use that. You have to tweak a word or two. Problem I have with it is it's way too common. There's already a professional sports team called the Warriors, and they've won 3 championships in the last 5 years. So they're going to have more familiarity than we're going to have, and so we're going to be constantly competing. We're going to be the other Warriors team, is how people are going to refer to us, and we're going to be constantly competing for popularity with the name Warriors. Not to mention, there's a lot of high school teams named Warriors. I think when I grew up, literally 3 teams within my proximity were called the Warriors. Okay, and I didn't live in a big area with a lot of schools. 3 teams were called the Warriors. Okay. And a lot of youth league teams are called Warriors. I think it's just too much Warriors. There's a lot of college teams called Warriors. I think it's just too much. Okay, I think it's just too much. So we can just I don't like it. I just personally just don't like the Warriors. I think the Warriors is very bland. I think it's very boring is the best way to put it. So that's the first thing. Second thing is the next name is, I didn't go over this one, Warhawks. Apparently that's another option out there. Redhawks. I'm sorry, Redhawks. I don't like this one, period. I don't want another bird mascot, even if it is ceremonial. Like I said, Dan's trying to remove away from Redskin or Native American imagery. And I will say this, I'm going to say this as well. He also apparently lost the ability to get the Warriors back in 2019. Like he like kind of like gave up on that patent or whatever, the Washington Warriors. So it might not be available for him to get. So I hope that's the case, because then that makes the next 2 options really the only 2 options, and I think there's only 1 option out of these next 2. So the other options, there's 2 more. The Washington Redtails. Okay, now if you don't know the story, the Redtails were a Tuskegee Airmen. They're a bunch of African-American pilots that were elite pilots in World War II. Very good story. They weren't given the best gear, but they ended up, being some of the most effective pilots we had in the war. And there was a good movie about it. I recommend everyone watch it. But the problem with the Redtails is I don't dislike the idea of it, and we would have to change the fight song. We'd still have HTTR. The problem I have with it, though, is you have to change the fight song. Not to mention, the color scheme just does not look good. Okay, a lot of people, I like the burgundy and gold. If we stuck with the burgundy and gold and did this, it just does not look very good. In my personal opinion, it does not look good. It looks like trash to me. It looks like you just threw colors together. It doesn't look good. If you did that, you'd have to switch the color scheme to red, white, and blue, which, it's military, so it makes sense. And, I'm not opposed to the color change. But the problem with the color change, again, is you're missing out on the burgundy and gold, which is what we are, and we're going to have to change the burgundy and gold. I don't think that's going to fly well with a lot of people. It doesn't fly well with me right now, red, white, and blue. But if we did go that, I think red, white, and blue would be the better option. But we also have one other issue with the Red Tails name, is anytime someone beats us, they're going to say, look, the reason why you have a Red Tails is we just spanked you. There's going to be a lot of jokes about red rear ends, red asses, when it comes to playing the Washington Red Tails. So that's why I don't like. If they went that route, I wouldn't hate it. I don't think it's the worst choice. I think it's the second best choice. And then the best choice, in my opinion, it's by far the Red Wolves. Red Wolves is by far the best option. It doesn't. If we were allowed to keep the Redskin imagery and the Native American imagery, we could very easily just transition a mascot that's Native American and Redskin based. But even if we didn't want to do that, we can literally just have a red wolf with some yellow in him. And I would like one change. Instead of having burgundy, gold, and white, burgundy, gold, and black, I think looks a lot better, a lot cooler, a lot more intimidating. It'll look better, especially with a wolf mascot as well. So that's what I would prefer, but that's just me. That's my preference. So, not to mention, there's an elite group of helicopter pilots called the Red Wolves that could also be a tie-in with the military, so that would hit all your bases. We can have so many things, like when Chase Young or Montez Sweat or Kerrigan gets a sack, the fans howl, the players howl, and the fans join in with it. There's so many things we can do. The new stadium could be called the Den. You can have your there can be so many jokes about the pack, wolf pack, like from Hangover. There's so many things you can do when it comes to the wolf, the alpha, the omega, things like that, and a pack leader, things like that. There's tons of different things you can do joke wise, that I think would be the best. That's why I think it's the best route to go. Not to mention the color scheme. A lot of the options, and I'm going to show you a couple of the options here, have looked great. I think it's gaining traction. There's still some a thing that came out the other day that said the people were like favoring the Warriors. I don't think that's accurate. I think the traffic flow from Twitter is what I'm going to trust on what people are preferring. So I'm going to go and go over some concept ideas for jerseys. So this is the first one that really drew me in, with the Red Wolves. Obviously, we're not going to do the Native American thing, but that was one of the first ones that kind of drew me in that I really liked. So that's the first one. The jersey concept I like. Again, we're not going to use that helmet, but I do like the jersey concept. And this is like a potential helmet concept. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. It's a logo concept, and this is another one. I like this one probably the most. I like this one the most. And it's one of my favorite ones. And then we have this, and this is a bunch of jerseys. I like the one on the far right the best. The black one on the far right, I like the best for home games. We can have a blackout game. We can have, we can call it, this is our hunting gear, whatever. We're going on a prowl, we're prowling, whatever. We can do a whole bunch of things with that name. There's another logo. And then this is a logo for the Red Tails. This is the only one I actually came across that I kind of liked. This one's not bad. I didn't hate this one. It's kind of good. It's not the greatest, but it's kind of good. It actually doesn't look bad, but I've seen some ones that look really bad. And this one looks the best. Maybe it would look better with red, white, and blue. If the plane was blue and the front and back were red, and then you had white on the inside and then blue around it, just like that, I think it looked a lot better. Personal preference. But again, the Red Tails, like I said, second option. I think it's still a lesser option than the Red Wolves. This is another wolf one. You'd have to get rid of the feathers on the outside, no Native American imagery. But I think that one's pretty basic, but pretty cool as well. Now, this was one, I'm not advocating for this one, it just looked cool, so I saved it. It's called the DC Bison. Basically, it would be the Thundering Herd. DC Bison, yeah, it looks pretty cool, but it's not. This was the concept for the Washington Warriors. I don't hate it, don't get me wrong. I don't hate the concept here of what we could do jersey-wise. But I don't like, and then you have like the, in the middle of the logo, if you zoom in right here, you have the Washington Monument. So yeah, it doesn't not give us good options. I think there's definitely options, but I just don't like the options that were presented with the Warriors. This is one of the logos with the Red Wolves. I don't hate it. It's not the best, but I don't hate it. I think this one's better. If you look here, there's a wolf in the R. I think it's just significantly better. And I think that's pretty much it. I got a message. Ignore that. Here's another potential logo. Now this is a map. I don't trust this map at all. This map says what people like by state. I think that there's. I think this had to have been when it officially came out. I know that since then there's been a lot of traction on Twitter. I'm not gonna say I'm responsible, but I'm one of the people like pushing for the other options when it comes to the name change. I'm not pushing for a name change, don't get me wrong. I'm pushing for the Red Wolves if we change it. That's what I'm pushing for. And I think that I've heard a lot more traction about the Red Wolves than any of the other ones. I've been looking for other things. I've been looking for people coming up with concept art, so on and so forth, and I have not seen much of anything else. I've seen a couple others, nothing like really special. I saw one I actually didn't hate. It was called the Red Stallions. But there's like two other horses in the NFL, and there's a couple other teams in other sports that are horses. So I think there's just a little bit too much. There's just too much going on with it. And I don't like it as much. I don't like it at all. I'd rather go a different route when it comes to the Redskin name, or I'd rather just not go that route. I'd rather have something a little more unique. When it comes to all the major sports, there's only one sport that's nicknamed a wolf, and that's the Timberwolves. And then you also have, if you want to count the Coyotes, that would be another option you can go down. Is counting the Coyotes as one. So if you want to go that route, that's up to you. I don't want to go that route and do the Coyotes. No, I don't want to do that, and I'm trying to find a parking space. Okay. All right, and this one was like an away jersey that I liked. Really cool, really nice. I really enjoyed it. And I think this would be a pretty cool away jersey if you just did red and white. Again, but if you reverse the colors and do black for like a home jersey and something like that, I think it's a good option as well. And then last one here. Now this was a poll done by Twitter. It basically gauged all the traffic that we've had, all the traffic that they've had, and what the topics of conversations have been. And it seems like there's a 40, almost 50%, but 40, 42% like the Washington Red Wolves the best. Next one is the Red Tails. So it's almost been doubled up on how many people want the Red Wolves. And the Warriors is down there, and then the Redhawks are pretty down there. And there's some interesting names that I never actually came across very much. Hogs, Renegades, Americans, Natives, other. I don't think we're going to go with some of those. I mean, the Hogs make a little bit of sense, but I don't think we're going to change our whole team name for that. It doesn't embody power and, like, you know, being extremely, like, powerful and good. It doesn't embody that. I think Red Wolves does. And they're also an endangered species, so it'd be pretty cool to have them as a mascot. So I don't think I have any more pictures. Nope, I do not. So that's my video. What do you think? What do you think the Washington Redskins should do with their team name? I mean, if not changing the team is an option, let's stick with that. But let's say we don't have a choice. What do you guys want to do? What do you want to do when it comes to changing the team name? So let me know in the comment section down below. I'll also head over to Twitter and hit up my I have a poll that I'm doing. There's a couple days left on it. It's really significantly leaning towards Red Wolves. But I'd like to get as many people as I can in the poll, so I can have a better sample size. So I do want to appreciate everyone for watching. And hail to the Redskins, or hail to the Red Wolves. And have a good one.